Success in design is said to be achieved when the sole aim of the design brief is being achieved. I remain your regular host, Agu Joseph. Welcome to YJ Digital World. On today's video tutorial, I'll be guiding you through on how to create a church event flyer for a teens program. So in doing this, I'll be making use of Photoshop 2020. Please, if you are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. Turn on the post notification bell to get notification whenever I upload new content. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming in. Okay, so one of the ways in which you can achieve success in your design project is by understanding variables such as who are your target audience. Target audience also plays an important role in determining how your design project should look like, the kind of colors you'll be making use of, and the kind of font you'll be making use of. So this project is basically for teenagers, so most of my designs, most of the whole process should be looking more playful, okay, based on their age grade. And I will be making use of colors that would depict happiness in this design. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into it. So here on my Photoshop Canva workspace, I'll be creating this design for social media purpose. Okay, so I'll be setting my document as 4 by 4 inches of height and width. My resolution remains on 300, color mode remains on RGB because I'll be making use of this content for my socials. They are not being printed, so that's why the color mode remains on RGB. So next thing, we'll click on create. So here is our Photoshop Canva workspace on which this project will be carried out on. Okay, in the first phase of this project, we'll be creating a background in which other elements of this design will be placed on. Okay, so first thing first, I have to create a solid fill here precisely from my adjustment panel. I'll paste in the color code here. Okay, so after doing that, the next phase of this project is the phase where I'll be adding my resources. Okay, that's my exercise files such as this. So I'll drag in this into my Photoshop Canva workspace. Okay, so here I have this on my Photoshop Canva workspace. All I have to do is to hold Alt, left click and drag out so that I can scale out from the middle. Okay, Control minus to zoom out. I think this is good. Then check. Okay, so after doing this, Control 0 to fit to screen. Okay, after doing this, next phase of this project will come to our filter here, all the way to blur gallery to field blur. So I don't need much of the background to be visible, so I will set this to 64 pixels precisely. Okay, so after doing that, I have to change the blending mode so that this layer of my background image and my color fill can blend in properly together. So I'll change this to luminosity. Okay, so after blending this to luminosity, in the next phase I'll be creating another layer here. Okay, hold Ctrl Shift N. Ctrl Shift N is to create a new layer. I'll call this noise precisely. Change the mode to soft light. Turn on soft light, neutral color 50% gray option. Right click and convert this to convert the layer to a smart object. So after doing that, slide over to filter here and come to noise, add noise. I think this is good enough. Make sure yours is on uniform and monochromatic is selected. 8.69% amount of noise, that's what I'm using for this project. So I'll click on OK. So after doing this, and the next phase of this project is where we'll add a little bit of curves. Okay, I'm trying to create a little bit of contrast on my background, so that whenever I placed other form of a design element, it will stand out from the background. Okay, so I'll come over here this way and adjust this way, add a little bit of highlight and also a little bit of shadows to this. I think this is good enough, like this. So after doing that, I'm done with this. So in order for me to make my layer panel to be very neat and organized, all I have to do is to select the first layer from the top and select my background layer here, that is my color fill here, holding shift, left click on it, Ctrl G on your keyboard to group. I'll call this background, that is BG, it stands for my background. Okay, so after this phase of this project, the next phase of the project is where we'll be placing in an image that will help us to explain this project further. Okay, no, take note, I said this design is basically for a teens program, so here I need to drag in some image of a teen. Okay, here is the one I'll be making use of. Okay, I've already cropped the background out. Okay, so I'll check here. Okay, right click and convert it to a smart object. The main reason of me converting my layers to a smart object is to enable my image to maintain the actual resolution without losing quality. So here I come here, Ctrl T to transform and scale it up. Okay, I think this is good enough this way. I think this is good enough. Okay, now if you notice, this image is of a lower resolution. So the next phase of this project is where we'll be taking this image to the camera raw filter. Precisely, we need to work on the highlights, the shadows and other parts of this image. So I'll come to my filter here, all the way to camera raw. Okay, here is my camera raw. I'm currently on the basic 2 precisely. So here I notice that the exposure level is high over here, so I will reduce the exposure, that is the light, precisely. Let me see, I think this is looking good enough. So as well as the contrast, I need to also reduce the contrast. The contrast was too high, so I'll reduce it to, let me say, about 33. Okay, highlight as well. Let me step it down. I don't need it to be too strong on this project. Okay, after that I'll slide over to my black. Okay, I need to adjust it as well. So let me see. Okay, 41 is looking good enough on this. Then after doing that, I'll add a little bit of clarity and vibrance to this. I think this is good. I'm adding more of the color on the vibrance. Okay, so after doing this, the next thing I'll be doing is to come to my effects here. Okay, I need to add a little amount of noise on this. Okay, let me see. Okay, no, let me just leave this. Let me leave this as it is. So I'll slide over to where I have my details here. Okay, on my details here I'll set the amount for the sharpness, so about, let me say, 11. Okay, so after doing that, I'll click on OK. Now you see how the image is actually looking like. Okay, so let me turn off the camera raw. So here I'll make a duplicate of this layer here, turn on this camera raw back on. I'll turn it on. Next thing, all I have to do after turning off the camera raw of the duplicated layer, I hold Alt in between the two layers and left click. You see my mouse pointer changes to this. Left click to create a clip mask. Come over here to my filter, all the way to order and all the way to high pass. Okay, I think okay, this is good, this radius is good. Okay, the main, if you actually follow most of my videos, you notice that I normally make use of the high pass to create a little bit of depth and sharpness on my image. Okay, so when using this high pass, I normally want to see less of my skin tones. If you notice, I can't see most of the skin color of the things here. Okay, so I'll click on OK. Come over here, change the blendings to soft light. Okay, now after doing that, in the next phase of this project, I'll be adding a little bit of curve here precisely. I'll also clip max it. Okay, here I'll add highlights, and over here I'll add shadows over here. Okay, I'm trying to control the brightness and the highlights and the shadows of these images, okay, of this particular image. So after doing that, the next phase, I will come over here and activate my hues and saturation. Okay, also clip max it. I'll also desaturate this completely. Okay, you can see I've desaturated this completely. So the next phase, I'll come over here where I have the model image, that is the things image. Double click on it, the layer styles comes up precisely. So I'll come over here to my stroke here and set it to outside. Okay, opacity 100, color is set on white, stroke size remains on 10 pixels. So I'll click on OK. Now I'm trying to create that fun look around my image. That's why I added the stroke along the edges of this image. Okay, so after doing that, all I have to do is to select the whole layers of my model and group them. Call this Ctrl G is used to group. So after selecting the layers, you hit Ctrl G to group them. So I'll call this kits. Okay, so after doing that, I want to adjust the position of this. I think this is good this way. So the next phase is where I'll be placing the other set of information in this design. Okay, so before placing my information, it is always advised to create a guide. Okay, guide enables helps we as a designer to make our design have a good looking structure. Okay, so I'm setting this on 5% on all the whole edges. So this is set already. So all I have to do is to come over here. Okay, come to where I have my resources here. I'll copy this set of text. Okay, so I'll find a way to make this text more playful, so by using a playful kind of font precisely. So I'll left click into my Canva workspace and paste it in here. Ctrl T to transform. So I'll left click and drag out this way. Check. Come over here, select this precisely. I'm cutting this. Okay, come over here, paste it in here and check. Okay, Ctrl T, scale this up and position it somewhere along this side. I think this is good enough. So after doing that, you select both layers of text, hit Ctrl T, scale it up properly. I think this is good. Okay, so after scaling it up properly, the next phase is for me to add my rider beneath this set of text. Okay, so I'll come over here to my note panel, to my notepad, copy this set of text, pick my text to After placing in the theme of the event, we'll come over here to our character panel. In case if you don't have your character panel, you don't know where it is, you can come over here and enable it for your windows here. Okay, enable it, it comes over here. So come here, I'll change this to Montserrat. I'll change this to medium under the family. So all I have to do is left click and paste in the text over here. Okay, so next thing, I'll increase the trackings, the leadings. Okay, so after increasing the leadings, I'll come over here, drag it and position it somewhere around here. I think this is good enough. Okay, so I'll enable this on my character panel, all caps. Okay, I need to make all the whole text to be on capital letters. Okay, so after doing this, the next phase is to group them together, thereby keeping our layer panel well organized and looking neat. Okay, so I'll call this theme. Okay, so I'll hit Ctrl A to make a quick selection of the whole Canva workspace and align this horizontally to the middle. Ctrl D to deselect. Okay, so after doing that, next thing I have to do here is to place in other set of information such as this. Okay, copy this, pick my text to left click and paste it in here. Okay, Ctrl A to select the whole text, return the tracking to 0 precisely. Okay, and change the orientation to right text orientation. Okay, so here I'll have to select this first line of text to the end. Okay, and I can call this let me see, 5.2. I'm trying to scale up the size. Okay, change the font family to bold. Okay, so after doing that, I'll click on the check button here, come over here, adjust the trackings. Okay, come over here, slide it and position it along this path. Okay, so after doing this, I have to create another path along this region here where I'll be placing in my other set of information here. Okay, so I'll come over here, pick my rectangle tool over here. Okay, make a selection of this size. I think this is good enough. Okay, so after doing that, pick your move tool and position it here. I think this is good. Hit Ctrl J to make a duplicate of this. Okay, hold shift left click and drag this way. I think this is also nice. So I'll come over here and copy the color code that I'll be using for these shapes precisely. So I'll come over here, double click on the layers. Okay, paste in the color code here, select the other layer, come over here, copy the hex code. Okay, come over to your Photoshop, double click on the rectangle layer, paste in the color here. Okay, this project is now coming to life. So next thing, I'll come here where I have this my address here precisely. I'll drag it above every other layer on my layer panel. So pick my text to come over here and select. Okay, after selecting that first line of text, I'll come over here to make a selection of this precisely. I'll click on OK, check. Okay, so next thing, come over here as well and copy in the time of the event. Okay, I'll paste it in here, hit Ctrl T, scale it up. Okay, change it to Montserrat. Okay, precisely I'll change this to semi bold. change the color to this as well. Okay, so let me place this along this part. Okay, so I'll disable this all caps. I'll disable it, pick my move tool, make sure this is positioned properly, and adjust the spacing between texts, between the both texts. Okay, so after doing that, make a duplicate of this. Okay, come to your notepad over here, copy this set of text, pick your text tool and paste in this over here. Ctrl T on your keyboard, scale this down. Okay, and change this to bold precisely. Okay, pick your move to make sure the spacing between this and this are equal. So you drag out gently. You can see the spacing between the 9 a.m. and the date is also equal. Okay, that's for that. So I'll come over here, select the set of the layers and group them together, hitting Ctrl G, and call this time. Okay, so after doing that, come over here, scale down the size. Okay, the next thing I'll be dragging in the logo. Okay, dragging in the organizer's logo, that is like the church logo here. Place it around somewhere here precisely. Okay, I think this is good. Okay, this is looking nice, this is looking good. Okay, so after doing this, we'll move to the next phase of this design, where we'll be placing in other set of information along this part here. So come to my notepad here and copy in the text, pick your text tool and paste in the text over here. Okay, so I'll change this to bold. Okay, it's already on bold precisely, so I'll drag it over here. We have this. Okay, make a quick selection or drag it this. I'll drag in this. I'll select these two rectangles and drag them, okay, along this part. Okay, so here I'll make a quick selection of this rectangle by holding Ctrl and left clicking on my mouse. If you notice, my mouse pointer has changed to this, so I'll left click to make a quick selection. Select the text layer where I have the name of the host, so I'll align it horizontally and vertically to the center. Ctrl D to deselect the quick selection. Okay, Ctrl T to transform this. I hold Alt, left click and drag to scale from the middle. That is the main essence of me holding the Alt. Okay, so after doing that, I come over here, select the host text here and change it to medium. Okay, so after doing that, come over here and select this color. I'm trying to create a contrast, okay, among the text precisely. So after doing that, come to my notepad as well. I'll copy this set of text again, pick my text tool precisely. Okay, so I'll come over here, let me make a duplicate of this and then paste in this text over here. Ctrl T. Okay, scale this down and drag it into this shape precisely. Check. Okay, I notice that this rectangle is too big, so let me scale down the size of this rectangle. Okay, so as well as adjust this as well, that is the position of the host name in the rectangle. I'll adjust that as well. Okay, so I'll come over here where I have this other rectangle and hit Ctrl T, hold shift and adjust the size as well. Okay, So I can come over here, hit Ctrl T and scale up the size of this text. Okay, so after doing that, I'll come here, adjust the spacing. I think this is good. Ctrl T, position it somewhere here, hold Alt again, scale it. Okay, so here you can come over here, hold Ctrl, make a quick selection of this particular rectangle. You can see the marquee has been selected. Okay, the rectangle has been selected. So I'll pick my move tool. Okay, I'll make sure that this is aligned vertically to the center. Okay, so I'll deselect by hitting Ctrl D to deselect precisely. Okay, so after doing that, the next thing here is to, okay, let me pick my text tool. Still notice as if the space are too much. Okay, so I'll come over here, pick my rectangle over here, change the fill to white precisely. Okay, and make a rectangle of this size. Okay, so all I have to do is to drag it into the workspace, Ctrl plus to zoom in. Okay, I think this is good. Ctrl plus to zoom in more, Ctrl T. Okay, Ctrl J. Okay, I think this is actually looking better. Okay, so that's for that. So for this theme of the event, I can still come here, hit Ctrl T and scale it up. Okay, need it to be more visible. Ctrl H to hide my guide. Okay, so I think this is looking nice. It's looking nice. Okay, so I choose to create this design this way, thereby making use of images of things. Okay, thereby removing the background, creating a stroke along them to depict play or fun. Okay, likewise the text I'm not using a normal corporate font. I'm making use of a playful kind of font as well. Okay, that is for this. So here as well, I want to also try something else, give you another preview. If you notice here, the images I used here, I desaturated it because of the actual low quality. Okay, so let me turn off this, for example, and get in the other set of images as well. This as well. Okay, this precisely. This was another set of image I intended to use for this. Okay, so come over here, add the stroke as well. I think this is also looking nice. So you just play around and see the one that works fine for you and you make use of it. Okay, this is looking nice as well as this. So ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of today's video tutorial. Please, if you have any question, you can leave your question in the comment section. Have any comment, leave your comment in the comment section. Please, if you are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, turn on the post notification to get notification whenever I upload new content, and please don't forget to give this video a like. Give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend this video to other designers on the engine. So thank you guys for watching.